Hello and welcome to Adventure Hole, the channel that realises just as she turns round it's not the girl you thought it was, but you still shout, "You can't handle the truth," just because you're already there now. I know what you're thinking. What's an appropriate setting for a speech to a nation struggling with a cost of living crisis?
In these challenging times, Her Majesty's government will play a leading role in defending democracy.
I like Charles, but for me the phrase "in these challenging times" loses a bit of its impact when it's said by a man sitting on a golden chair wearing a shacket made of precious jewels. I only wore the 7 medallions. I didn't want to come across as showy. To be fair to him, that's his utility room. It would have been gauche to use the ballroom. It just seemed a tad insensitive. You know, it's like eating a box of Fuselies in front of a starving person. You don't do it. I'm not saying he should have given a speech in trackies and sliders. I'm just saying that if you don't know him, it could look like he's taking the piss. The whole thing couldn't have been more ironic if on his way home there was a traffic jam when he was already late. He got a free ride when he'd already paid.
And who would have thought it's figures?
Either way, there was definitely some good advice that he just didn't take. Topical joke there from 1996. You've got to let these things percolate. Of course, Charles was filling in for the Queen because Danny Wallace wasn't available. Yes, Queen Liz had originally been booked to make the speech, but she'd already promised Cynthia they'd finally have that drink. Plus she'd already bailed on the last time, and if she didn't meet her this time, Cynthia certainly wouldn't speak to her again. And maybe she's been oversensitive, but it does feel like Cynthia's been a little crisp with her ever since the casserole disaster. So Charles, you can do the speech for Mummy, but whatever you do, don't make us look out of touch. Staying with the cost of living crisis just because a lot of people can't afford eggs. When Boris Johnson was told this week in an interview about Elsie, a 77-year-old pensioner who's resorted to riding the buses just to keep warm, he responded with empathy, understanding and a clear policy to ensure this could never happen again.
I just remind you that the 24-hour Freedom Bus Pass was something that I actually introduced.
Oh no, that's right, he just lied and talked about himself. That response is like telling someone you're crying because your cat just got run over and them saying, "I've got a car." Honestly, he's got all the empathy of a printer. The Tories have been busy this week thinking up new ways to distract us all from the damaging headlines about the cost of living and Partygate fines. At one point in the middle of an interview, Michael Gove just started doing voices.
But that doesn't amount to an emergency budget, a major capital letters, a big news story, when the Treasury quite rightly say, "Calm down."
You have to see him live, really. It's amazing what this lot will do to avoid taking responsibility for how terribly shit everything is. Johnson's taken up escapology, escaping to any country that will let him in. Gove's doing impressions, and let's face it, none of us were fooled by Liz Truss's cup and ball trick on BBC Breakfast. It would almost be easier for them just to come up with some policies. Still, it's good to know that Gove's got a backup career plan, just in case he ever becomes unpopular as a politician. Talking of men who look like frogs that have been kicked in, Piers Morgan's back. There's a boon for anyone who in these divisive times has a hankering for some good old-fashioned balanced reasoned argument. His new show, Piers Morgan Uncensored, is on Talk TV, which you can get via an app. Although I don't know what kind of idiot would want to spend his time spouting ill-thought-out opinions on a cheaply made TV show that nobody watches on an app. Glad I've got better things to do with my life. The word uncensored promises an anarchic, unpredictable feel, doesn't it? Painting Morgan as a maverick, a radical male conformist, challenging the status quo, the René Magritte of Talk TV, Cecile Paz and TV presenter. Honestly, you don't know what that man's going to say next, do you? Except you do, because it'll just be something about snowflakes and pronouns. Because as we all know, the world hasn't been kind to rich, straight white men. Sometimes they have to refer to someone as they. As well as online, Talk TV is available on FreeSat, which is quite low down on the electronic TV guide, somewhere between jewellery and ghosts. Piers Morgan, Jeremy Kyle and Julia Hartley-Brewer have all been given their own slots, and there's a popular breakfast show hosted by much-loved TV presenting duo, the Moors Murderers. It's basically a TV channel for the awful. This week, Ncuti Gatwa has been named the new Doctor Who. Of course, people who like to hide their identity behind cat avatars on Twitter have predictably been trolling the actor, saying he only got the part because he's gay and black. You know, just like they do every time a heterosexual white actor gets the part. I mean, they do that, right? Because that would really support their argument. Still, I'm sure the racist, homophobic Twitter trolls will all calm down once Elon reinstates Donald Trump's account. Can't wait for that. Peace at last. Gatwa's parents are said to be really proud. They always wanted him to be a doctor. Keir Starmer, remember her, has promised to resign if he gets fined by police for attending a lockdown party. He also said that if anyone finds out about that double murder, he'll resign for that too. You've got to hand it to the man. He's got integrity.
I believe in honour, integrity, and the principle that those who make the laws must follow them.
Security, prosperity and respect, the name of his 3 house rabbits. Sources close to Starmer say he had a couple of drinks and the next thing they knew, he was making ineffectual speeches in Parliament and going about telling everyone he's going to be the next Prime Minister. Still, we all say idiotic things when we're drunk, don't we? Well, my hormones are killing me, so that's all I've got time for this week. But as I said to my friend's husband, if any of that excited you, please do like, subscribe and ring the bell. Thanks for watching. See you in future times.